guys, so what do you got? We're going to talk today a little bit about your Muay Thai stance and the variations that you might take in your stance to throw certain attacks or techniques and to defend against certain things. So essentially at its core it's simple. I've got 2 feet. I want a front foot and a back foot, and I want a left foot and a right foot. So what that means is my left foot's going in the front, my right foot's going in the back. Or if you're a southpaw, it's the opposite. Your right foot's going in the front, left foot's going in the back. You're going to unlock your knees for some shock absorption. If your legs are locked out like this, you won't have much success. As soon as you get hit, you're going to topple over. You're going to be very stiff trying to move around. Just unlock your knees. Don't give away any of your height. Don't bend down. You're just going to unlock your knees so that you got some shock absorption. If I get hit here, I can absorb it in my legs. So this is often referred to as our kicking stance, this version of our stance here. If we're going to punch, a lot of the time we'll step forward with this foot, and we'll flatten out our rear foot so that our heel points this way. Because we have more twist in our hips and shoulders, all of our punches are going to be more effective from this stance. Notably, when we come into elbow, I always say keep the version of this boxing stance because this allows for more twist in the hips and shoulders. So as you close and you throw this elbow, I don't want this foot to scooch up to here because I can't twist the same way. I want this foot to stay in the rear of my stance, keep a boxing stance. This way my hips and shoulders can twist all the way through. The same way I can twist through my hook, I can twist through an elbow. So I want to keep this boxing stance when I'm elbowing. So if I throw punches and then elbows, jab, I'm going to move my whole stance. Boom, and elbow. Conversely to our boxing stance, which is better for throwing punches, our kicking stance is better for blocking. It's better for coming up into knees. It's better for coming up into our roundhouse kick. Boom. It's easier to pop up onto one foot if my feet are closer to each other. So if we're just starting out when you're working, think of it as those being your 2 stances, your kicking stance and your boxing stance. Obviously, there's a whole spectrum of options in between here and here, but this is better for moving around and for launching any of our attacks that we come up onto one foot for. This is better for the punches and the elbows that we keep both our feet on the ground and we twist through. So when you're moving around, say I'm shadow boxing here, I'm going to mostly be moving in my kicking stance. I've got my horizontal line, my heel in front of it, my toe right up to it, and I'm mostly moving around in this. This is a better balance, easier to pop up and block, easier to work defensively. But then if I want to start throwing combinations of punches, I'm not going to stay here and throw punches because I don't get as much twist. So I'm going to step in, throw my punch combinations, and then afterwards, if I'm going to follow it with a kick, I'm going to switch into a version of my kicking stance. Boom, come back, and I'm back to moving around in my kicking stance again. Don't overthink these and let them paralyze you, but simultaneously, it is very beneficial to get your feet to do the right thing. I always tell people, if you can make your feet do the right thing on the floor, then the rest of your body's going to follow. The feet on the floor are the key. If I'm throwing punches, this will never, no matter how well I execute everything else, this will never be as effective as this. It all comes from the feet on the floor. As you get some training under your belt and you're feeling more comfortable and more fluid, you're not going to need to think to move into, well, now I'm going to jab and cross. I'm going to move from this stance to this stance. It'll just happen automatically. Your stance is going to become fluid and part of the way that you move around on the mat. And you won't have to commit time to thinking, now boxing stance, now kicking stance. It's all going to happen naturally for you. But when starting out, think of those as your 2 options. This shorter stance here is better for popping up into kicks, knees, teeps, blocks. This stance here is better for twisting through punches and elbows. Cut.